What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Miguel. You're watching Miguel EDC, the channel where we talk everything EDC gear here. And today we're doing a quick unboxing of this knife. This is coming to me via Knife Dope. Check out Knife Dope's channel if you haven't already. And yeah, we're gonna be doing a quick unboxing, first impressions, reaction on this knife. So definitely stay tuned for that. Smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And doing the honors today, we have the Benchmade Bugout. That's right. This one is the mini version of the Bugout. I just recently unboxed this one in the channel, checking out what the Bugout craze is all about. And I've really been having a good time with this one, right? Mini version of its full-size counterpart. And this one's going to be doing the honors today. Of course, this knife and every other knife that you see in this video will be linked down below. It does help out the channel when you use those links, but that's entirely up to you and at zero extra cost. That being said, let's find the best way to break into this box, and I want to say the password is probably right here, right? Making a nice cut right around here. Let's see. There we go. Maybe around the side here as well. Always cutting, trying to cut away from me, not towards me. And hopefully that does it. Let's see. All right, here we go. Now this is how you open the package, this way. All right, so all right, it's a package inside of a package. All right, let's figure this one out here. Here we go. All right, so we got two Kershaw models going on this one, and let's if it is what it is, I think we're gonna be in for a good treat, you guys. All right, Kershaw. Haven't seen the Kershaw models here on the channel for quite some time, and it's about time we check out some of their models. These came out earlier in the year 2024. We got the Bel Air and we got the Launch 19, and I am going to be unboxing both. What I'm going to do is I'm going to divide this video into two different videos. That way it helps with the YouTube search algorithm. Most of my views do come in via search. So we're actually going to go ahead and open the Launch 19 first. Let's check out the Bel Air, right? This is out of the new Kershaw Launch this year. This is definitely the one that caught everybody's eyes, probably the most popular out of all of them, and at least in my opinion. So if you may or may not disagree with me. And here it is, guys. It is a crossbar lock style knife. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Kershaw calls it the Duro Lock, and of course it has Omega springs, very similar to Benchmade's Axis Lock, like we saw on the Benchmade Mini Bugout, the one that we used to open the box here for this knife. And we got Benchmade to thank for giving us the Axis Lock. They had a patent on it, which recently expired. So now a lot of companies are coming out with their own version of the Axis Lock. They just can't call it the Axis Lock. So you'll see there are many different ways or naming conventions. Kershaw calls it the Duro Lock. Kaiser calls it the Clutch Lock, and so on and so forth. But most people, we know it as in the community as a crossbar lock. So we have aluminum handles on here, which actually feel really nice. Before we get into that, all right, check out the, we got additional, what feels like additional ball bearings, which is nice, and some additional Omega springs also on here in the box. And that's pretty good, right? I'm glad that they include those right from the box. First impression, the aluminum feels pretty good, right? It has a nice texture to it, right? And again, it does have some liners, steel liners underneath, so you can see the sort of sandy looking color or tan color, and then what's in black right there, those are your liners. And yeah, let's go ahead and get this thing deployed, shall we? Also rocks a very, very deep carry pocket clip. We're going to talk about that in a moment as well. The pocket clip is reversible, but yeah, it's definitely going to sit in the pocket very, very deep and hidden, right? That being said, we got some thumb studs, right, for thumb deployment, reverse flick. You can use the crossbar lock itself. But yes, I'm going to start with the thumb stud. Man, that feels like a solid deployment right there, and good disengagement too. I'm getting a lot of Kershaw Iridium vibes right here, right? The way the Kershaw Iridium was easy to operate. It also had ball bearings too. Now I'm getting a little bit of a weird sound here. I'm not sure what that is. Okay, I'm seeing something. I'm seeing the actual Omega spring on this side is kind of out of place as compared to on this side is fully in place. So it may need to be pushed down. Otherwise, it's creating that weird sound. I typically don't do this, but that's going to drive me insane. So I'm going to get out my tools. Again, part of the Spyderco tool set, link down below. And I'm just going to T6 screws, right? Go ahead and loosen up just the one side where I see the Omega spring is not fully, it's not fully in place, right? The Omega spring is just a tad bit out of place and it's creating that, again, that weird sound. Yeah, and again, for comparisons, it sits nice and flush on this side, and for some reason, it's a little bit out of place on this side. So again, I typically don't do this, and I probably should ask Kevin for permission since it's not my knife, but I'm just going to take a leap of faith here and just do this really quick. Shouldn't be, I mean, I'm not disassembling the entire knife, but the pivot is T8, the body screws were T6. I'm going to take off the scale. Can I separate the scale? There we go, from the liner. And yes, you see, this is what I'm talking about, right? The Omega spring is not fully in place. So I'm just going to try to push it back in there. Come on, buddy. Like, come on. Well, you stay there. And then you snap in place, please. I'm asking you nicely. All right, did that help? Yes, there we go. See? All right, so it seems like I fixed the problem. I'm not sure what may have caused that Omega spring to even come out in the first place. But yeah, let me go ahead and put everything back together, and we are back to unboxing and first experience. Again, this is not a review video, or you just saw me take the video out of the, take the knife out of the box. So I did notice that weird sound, right? And then immediately noticed that the Omega spring was out of place. So now we're just putting everything back. All right, here we go. I may have tightened it just a bit too much. So there's always a good sweet spot for how much, how tight you want your crossbar lock knife to be. If I loosen it just a tad bit more, there we go. There we go. All right, now we're back to some awesome action. And even after doing all that, for whatever reason, the Omega spring just came out of its place once again. I'm not sure if it was during a previous disassembly. I may have to sort of squeeze the opening a little bit closer shut so it stays in that place. I'll probably do that off camera and kind of give you an update during the review video, but I guess it's making that weird noise again. So yeah, all it is the Omega spring is out of place right there, where it's not out of place on this side. So I may have to close, again, the opening a tad bit, make sure it stays in place. I thought I had fixed it, but I'm going to have to do a little bit more work. So I'm going to do that, obviously, and give you an update during the review video. But yeah, action is good, right? Just like the Kershaw Iridium. If you haven't seen the review on the Kershaw Iridium, definitely check it out because it's just as smooth as the Kershaw Iridium. And what this one has going on for it is a Savage, sort of like a sheep's foot, Warncliffe blade, blend going on here, right? So flat grind, very, very slicey, right, to say the least. And this thing's going to be a performer. Again, I do believe this one, Dennis from EDC for Fun, put a solid, fresh new edge on this one after Lefty EDC, aka Kevin, definitely just used the crap out of this knife, cutting boxes and everything like that. Magnacut steel, which is becoming a fan favorite here lately. So good steel, and it does have the Kai design or in-house design, a little marking right there. That's what that is. Okay, and ergonomically speaking, yes, this feels really good in the hand. Again, I have average hands, not the biggest, not the smallest, and it feels right at home, right? Good contouring around the edges for the aluminum scales there, right? And yeah, it feels right at home right here. I guess you could forward choke if you wanted to. Just got to be a little bit careful right there to always know where the edge, right, the corner of the blade is, right? And again, this was also made in the USA. Got the USA flag On the non-show side, the model number, Magnacut in-house design, and then just Kershaw on the show side, right? Kershaw knives also have Kershaw in the pocket clip, which in my opinion is a little bit overkill, right? If you already have it on the blade, why does it always have to, why does it also have to be on the pocket clip? I don't know. But yeah, being an ambidextrous knife, which this one is, right? Here you see me using it with my very non-trained left hand. Right. I'm glad that they put a reversible pocket clip there, which is good. That's always a good thing. So lefties out there can rejoice as well. Yeah, I'm gonna have to fix that Omega spring situation. I feel like that is kind of causing it to not work as it should. But yeah, I'm gonna get that sorted out for the review video. But yeah, let's do some size comparisons on this bad boy. Here it is next to the Kershaw Launch 19. And again, both of these came out at the same time here in 2024, brand new models. I think they were announced on January 2024. And so one is automatic, the other one is a crossbar lock. Speaking of crossbar locks, here's the Benchmade mini Bugout. So I don't have a full-size Bugout right here, but honestly, I mean, the talk of town is that this Bel Air model is going right after the Kershaw Bugout. The Benchmade Bugout's lunch money, pretty much, right? So yeah, here's the mini version that we used to open up the package, right? Again, similar deployment method. You can sort of see the similar profile. Not that anybody copied anybody, right? Just basically very average, common, very well-known lines that are functional, that work. And so obviously the mini version of the Bugout is going to be a little bit smaller, right? The Launch 19 is just a tad bit bigger, but I believe it's more or less a medium knife, right? So if I do, let's say the CJRB Pyrite Alt, right? These two have a lot of similarities, right? Similar blade geometry in a way, right? Similar handle. All right, check out the Vosteed Raccoon, right? Also a crossbar lock in this case. Okay, so the Launch 19 is a little bit closer to the CJRB Pyrite size-wise. Here's the Civivi Vision FG. It's going to be a little bit bigger. And here is the Civivi Sentinel Strike. It's also going to be a little bit bigger, right? And again, this is just for comparison purposes, so you can have more or less an idea size-wise. Here's the Demko AD 20.5, actually very comparable, although just a tad bit shorter than the AD 20.5, and actually bigger, right? A hair bigger than the Shark Cub. So somewhere in between those two, but a lot closer to the bigger AD 20.5. And last but not least, here's the PM2 and Para 3. All right, PM2 and Para 3 is actually a little bit shorter. I want to say a hair shorter. I mean, if you count the pocket clip and how far out that sticks out, then yeah, it's very comparable to the Para 3. Definitely a lot closer to the Para 3, you know, because the PM2 is so, you know, much bigger. But again, the idea there is just to give you a ballpark idea where these land, so you have more or less, right, a little bit of understanding there, right? Let's do our scientific paper and cardboard cutting test. And yeah, check out the cutting right here. I believe this is the second edge, and Dennis from EDC for Fun ended up putting this edge on this one. So Magnacut steel. You guys rate it in the comments on a scale from 1 through 10. How sharp is this guy? Does it need a stropping? Does it need some additional sharpening? Right, let me know in the comments, right? Obviously 10 being the sharpest, but yeah, we know I can do paper. What about some cardboard? I got some everyday cardboard right here from what's left of our Christmas tree. And remember, when cutting cardboard, don't cut perpendicular, but rather at an angle. And it's gonna look something like this. Wow. That is really good. Now there's a thicker portion right here towards the back end, and even then it's cutting it with no issues. And it feels pretty comfortable in the hand doing so. So I can see why Lefty just went through crazy amount of boxes with this knife. I feel like the thin geometry, right, how thin this is, really helps it be a slicer, and it is a full flat grind. So let's take a look here. Look at that, 0.09, 0.09. That is how thin this one is. And yeah, certainly a performer, certainly a cutter. Magnacut steel, putting in work. You guys let me know in the comments, all right, how sharp is this guy? Well, there you have it, guys. That is the Kershaw Bel Air, right? And no, it's not the Prince of Bel Air. It's the Kershaw Bel Air. And lame jokes aside, Kershaw, I mean, it feels like Kershaw has done it again. A very nice, very functional crossbar lock here, right? Good action, just like the Kershaw Iridium, really bringing back those vibes. And I don't have the Iridium on hand, but it's one of my favorite knives from last year. So if you haven't checked out the review video on the Iridium, I'll put one here on the right side towards the end of the video so you guys can check that one out. It's definitely an awesome budget knife, and I can't recommend it enough. This one's going to be very interesting to carry. This one has a lot going for it that I already like. One being a crossbar lock, the other one being such a thin geometry, right? And the fact that it is such a performer, such a slicer, right? That Warncliffe sheep's foot blade is definitely right up my alley as well. So I'm excited to carry this knife, to say the least, right? So smash that like button, guys. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel if you want to stay tuned. I post knife and DC content like this on an ongoing basis. I promise you'll be worth coming back for more. And if you want to support the channel a step further, there's a link for Patreon down below. And you can also support the channel right here on YouTube by becoming a channel member. You'll get access to exclusive perks. That being said, guys, remember this knife is linked down below. So if you want to check availability, prices, all that good stuff, I can't guarantee it will be in stock. But if it is, then I'm going to try to link to as many websites as possible where this guy is available. Also going to put the video for the unboxing on the Kershaw Launch 19 on the right side, so you guys can check that one as well if you want after this video. Again, guys, thank you so much for all your love and support. I appreciate every single one of you. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I'm going to catch you on the next video. Peace.